Hi everyone, this is Krishna. We'll start in next 4 5 minutes with the Oracle Cloud session. Just I'm waiting for the other people to join. Just 5 minutes, please hold, guys. So guys, we'll start in just 2 minutes more. So meanwhile, I'll start, guys. Can you please help me ping so that I can understand the audience? If you are from a DBA background, which I believe no need to ping me in the chat. But if you are joining from if you are currently working as a developer or some other field or a storage architect, something like that, please ping me in the chat window. Whatever role you are working, just ping me in the chat window that you are a apps DBA or you are a storage admin or whatever. Guys, am I audible? Can somebody confirm? Shruti, can you confirm if I'm audible?
Yes, sir, audible.
Shruti, if I'm audible, can you please confirm now? My voice is clear.
Yes, sir, clear.
Thank you. And Shruti, can you please confirm if you're able to see my screen as well? Can you see my screen?
See, sir.
Thank you. So I'll just start just 1 or 2 more minutes. Okay. So Nitin, you are Oracle DBA. That's good. I believe most of the people who have joined are Oracle DBA and might be in some or the other ways thinking about Oracle Cloud, thinking how to join Oracle Cloud, how to learn Oracle Cloud, how to upskill your DBA career, right? And about myself, I was also a DBA. Then I've been an Exadata SME, and then I've been an ExaCC SME. Currently, I work as a freelancer. I work with many big customers, support them. I help them to migrate or provision their infrastructure to from on OCI, configure the Exadatas, ExaCCs, right? So I'll not take much of the time. I'll start just in next 30 seconds, and I'll also try to explain you how the path of the DBAs are changing. Until now, I think I have personally trained more than 800 DBAs on the technologies of Exadata, ExaCC, OCI, and most of them are doing pretty good. So just give me 10 15 seconds and then we'll start. So anybody who's coming from a developer background in this group? Okay, seems no one as expected. Okay. Anybody who's coming from an apps DBA background? Just ping in the chat window apps DBA. Okay, no one. Perfect. So now let me start. So now, guys, I want this session to be an interactive session. You can, by the end of the session, I will just take 15-20 minutes to explain my thought process, to explain what I understood in past few like 7 to 8 years of my journey towards into the cloud, right? And then we will have the Q&A. I'll try to answer your questions, try to clear your doubts, right? Whatever it is, whatever I can. Okay. So, Shruti, I'm not able to open the pen. Can you please? Okay, let me take this pen. No issues. So now, see, guys, everybody now we all have been the DBAs, right? We have been working on a black screen, on a putty session, right? Doing a lot of stuff. So when we talk about the DC, that means the data center of the on-premise environment. That is the on-premise data center. That means the data center which the customers are having on-premise. So that, okay, there are a lot of apps DBAs as well. Thank you. Now that data center has database as one of the very major component. But don't forget there are other components like storage. There are other components like apps, DBA, like apps. There are other components like web, network, firewall, lot of things, right? Now, so I'll try to just map you how you can take your expertise from a DBA to an OCI and why you should take. Now, the problem starts here. When not is the it is not the problem, but basically the transition, right? The transition of a DBA starts here. When you are a DBA, you are managing only the on-prem, only the database, right? You are not managing the apps, you are not managing the web, network. Everybody has a different team and they were managing their components. You were not managing their components, right? But there were a lot of problems around this thought process around the on-premise infrastructure. That the major problem is the scale. That means if you want to configure one rack database, can anybody give me the answer? If I want to install one rack database, database, how much time it will take in the on-premise environment? Any number? 5 days, 10 days. If I want to create a new rack database, anybody can unmute and tell or raise your hand.
Uh, Krishna, can I call you Krishna?
Randeep, sorry, your voice is a bit slow. Just 1 second. Let me check my speaker. Yeah, can you speak now?
Yes. Am I audible to you now?
Yeah, you are audible, Randeep. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you. So if I would say in man hours, yeah, it's an on-premise. Let's start with the procurement, and if I
Correct.
leave everything alone, yeah, just if once the server arrives, once the binaries are
Correct.
installed,
Correct.
just flatly the installation will take somewhere around 2 to 3 business days. But
Okay.
then it depends on what kind of environment you are installing it in. If you're installing it on production, then I would suppose that you do it way in advance because you wanted to do there has to be a dry run of the whole sequence, what you are going to do, I mean, the replicate in the production, because when you do it in production, you do not have a chance, like if things go wrong, how to roll back,
And
how to, I mean, go back to the earlier fallback strategy. So if you are doing it, let's say you have everything there, or I mean, the environment is a test environment. So short answer will be 2 to 3 days.
okay, so now, Randeep, a question to you. Now, let's suppose I am your customer, right? And I am running one database. Now, tomorrow I say that I want to install two more new database. That was my question. So I think the installation itself will take 2-3 days for this. The procurement, the storage, the Linux, the testing, lot of things. It will at least take, I think, approximately 3 to 4 weeks, not less than that, because you will have to arrange the hardware also for this databases. The hardware is not lying there. But if in case the hardware is lying, you have to configure the storage, configure the OS, configure the
Yeah, if you
licenses.
want to. If you want to put it in this way, of course, because
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
that depends from company to company how your
correct,
strategies are. Some of the companies have better strategies in terms of
correct,
long-term planning.
correct.
They
Still,
have one or
still,
two servers
still,
available. Yeah.
right. So still, I think 1 week will be there. At least
Yeah, you
7 days
can.
it will take, right? To
Yeah.
to to install a complete production grade kind of a system for that database. And same applies for if I want to scale my web server, scale my app, scale my network. Because most of the customers who are on the on-premise today, they won't keep a vacant hardware. They won't buy a vacant hardware, right? Because hardware also has a cost. Now, let's suppose if they are having a rack lying down where nothing is running, they will pay the capex and the apex, OPEX. Capex means the capital expenditure, OPEX means the operational expenditure. So they will pay both, right? So customer
Mhm.
won't need to buy the extra hardware. They will procure it whenever they require. And that is where the problem starts because customer can't wait this much time. The another problem comes in the on-premise is that the cost of the maintenance of the data center and a lot of things. Correct? Now, as in DBA, we have been doing lot of tasks which are now automated to cloud. So now what happens? The cloud companies said that in spite of you maintaining the data center, we will maintain your data center. We will give you all the components connected. And now this 7 days can transition into 5 minutes. That means in 5 minutes, you will get a production grade database ready, a production grade web server ready in 5 minutes, right? So you can scale and you can get a lot of features, right? So that is the major reason why most of the customers are migrating. I mean, this is one of the major reasons. There are other reasons as well because they want to save on the cost, they want a strict monitoring, they want to adapt to the new features, right? So now where the problem lies for the DBAs, not the problem, we have to overcome that problem. And many thousands of people are overcoming with us. Now, the problem is that we have been always looking towards the database. We never gone to the storage, we never gone to the app, web network. Now, when this infrastructure is designed by Oracle, by GCP, by any cloud, right? Any cloud vendor, there are various other components working together. So the problem is that the whole stack has changed. That means your database is not going anywhere, right? You will remain a DBA. Nobody's taking the DBA from you, okay? But you have to top up your skills. What skills? Now you lie here, right, on the database server. You are a traditional DBA and you are already owning a lot of things. You already know a lot of things. You have to just expand, right? So now we, as an DBA, has been an operator and security guard and provisioner of the database servers. But now you have to expand a bit more. You have to check on the storage layers. You have to check on the application layers. You have to check on the network layer. So you have to expand your wings. Why? Because the architecture has completely changed. The traditional architecture of a data center and the cloud architecture of a data center has completely changed, right? And I think there is no one better than a DBA who can learn this fast. No one better than a DBA who can learn this fast because this is coming from the experience. The experience what I am doing, the experience what my students have done in last couple of years, right? Drastically, they have expanded themselves after learning the infrastructure. So it's just a change of the mindset, change of the infrastructure technology, which we all have to learn, right? Now, why I am always asking the DBAs to upskill because now DBAs have to think like an architect, a DBA architect or an infrastructure architect in the cloud. Because most of the tasks what you were doing up till now, that means you tell me some 4 or 5 tasks which you were doing, like patching in the on-premise, which is taking a lot of time. Patching, tell me guys.
Patching, upgradation, cloning, migration,
Cloning, perfect. Migration, okay. What else?
upgradation,
Upgradation, perfect. What else?
OEM perfects, OEM monitoring,
Installation,
installation also,
what else? Tuning,
tuning,
Backups,
performance tuning,
hmm?
user management,
Okay.
backups,
Backups,
Replication,
what?
replication
replication,
configuration.
Sorry, pardon, your voice is a bit breaking for me.
data guard,
Data guard configuration. Yeah, DR. Okay, sorry.
DR.
Data guard configuration. DR. Okay. Okay. Now let us keep it this way. Now, I am telling you the truth. When you will work with me on the labs, everything is automated.
Cloud is
Or
the automated, right? GUI mode. Almost all things are implemented in GUI.
so GUI plus CLI both. GUI plus CLI both. Both are there in
Yeah,
cloud,
we can
and
say
you
one
need
thing,
to understand
no,
both.
data center build is cloud is the in data card, DBA also one feature is there, no data card. We can install the DR now. Whenever the
Correct. So
production
that is what I'm.
facing the issue in production, we can immediately switch over the standby as the primary. We can within 20 minutes we can recover the database, right? What is the
Right.
difference
So
between data guard and
right.
cloud?
So
We can also feature is there, no?
so ready. I'll come to you. Just hold on a minute. Okay. Just let me complete. I'll just come to you. Just give me a couple of minutes. Now,
Okay,
most
okay.
of these tasks which the DBAs were doing are either automated or are either with a single click. That means patching. You can do by 2 clicks in the cloud. That means one is the pre-check. It will go and do the pre-check. One is apply, and you will do the apply. Right. Now, when these tasks are automated, what the DBAs will do, right? That is why DBAs have to expand their horizon, expand their technical horizon, because you are the one who will be doing this by the single click. You are the one who will be doing this cloning. You are the one who will be doing the migration. You are the one who will be doing the upgradation. But this will happen very fast. You will do the installation, clicks install, or you write a CLI code and you do the installation, right? So up till now, you know a bit of networking, you know a bit of storage, CPU, high availability, disaster recovery, security, but you have to expand it in terms of cloud now while moving to cloud. Because all these steps will not take, like for example, tuning. We spend a lot of time in tuning, right? But now if you go to the autonomous database, ADB, it tunes itself. You don't even have the option to tune the database, autonomous database. It will tune itself, right? You don't have any option. So what you will do if you don't have any option? What you are going to do?
You
Just
willing
give
to
me a
take
minute.
questions, Krishna?
Yeah. Krishna, I have one question. Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. So whatever you said, I mean, is the same features applicable for Oracle Business Suite as well?
Exactly. So e-business suite
Like
also is correct. So e-business
patching.
suite.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. You are right. The same features. Now, what I am talking about, I am talking about the infrastructure, right? Which is the first thing. Now, database, the same fundamentals are going to apply in the cloud. But But you have to expand your horizon in terms of how you are going to design the backup policies, how you are going to design a database server in the cloud, how it is going to connect to the application servers, how you are going to, design a SAN storage. So earlier in the on-prem environment, we have a SAN storage. We have a replica of a SAN storage in the OCI. You need to understand that offerings. So
Yes.
while Oracle was building, or any cloud vendor was building the cloud, any cloud vendor, when they were building the cloud, like if you talk about AWS, if you talk about GCP, you talk about
Azure.
Oracle, right? All of them
Yes.
read the same book, that is of cloud computing, right? And they build their own product, same book of cloud computing, because cloud computing is a concept, right? And they build a lot of features in their products to automate these kind of stuffs. They said database server will be 2 minutes provisioning, SAN storage I will decouple, I will give you different types of storages, backup system I'll automate, right? Now in the on-premise environment, these were the problems. You have manual provisioning, you have strict hardware dependency, you have the hard limits on scaling, you have the higher disaster recovery complexity. All these things are now gone in the cloud. Now the problem is many DBAs say, which might be coming in your mind also, right? That why? Why? I should learn the infrastructure. Why I am a DBA? Why I should run the infrastructure? That means why I should learn OCI. So now my answer is, even if you are an apps DBA, even if you are a security architect, even if you are a network architect, even if you are a DBA, the infrastructure OCI is the foundation. if you don't learn this foundation, right, you won't be able to connect. Even you will not be able to connect your application or database in the cloud, right? So the role is fundamentally changing. DBAs or apps DBAs must transition from a database operations. Here I am just talking about the DBAs, but the same applies for the apps also, because e-business suite is also automated. You have to transition your role towards how to adopt the cloud, how to do the automations, how to manage different database platforms. Now, let's suppose you are a cloud DBA and you have been given fleet of databases, Oracle databases, which are residing in different clouds, because now you have Oracle database available everywhere, right? How you will manage if you don't know the underlying infrastructure? Your customer is asking, hey, Mr. DBA, please help me migrate these two databases to the OCI and build a high available strategy for me, right? Correct? High availability strategy built for that customer for between Singapore and Tokyo region, let's suppose, right? Are you going to say, no, sir, I don't know, right? Because I don't know the infrastructure. If you don't know what are availability domains, what are fault domains, how they work, right? What is a subnet, what is a VCN, you will never be able to design the high availability strategy. And the fundamental problem is that if you as a DB are not going to decide this strategy for the customer, if you will not help the customers like SDFC, the customers like SBI who are moving to cloud, who is going to help? Will this security guy come? Will this network guy come? Will this apps guy come? No. Similar applies for the application guy. If you will not help your customer to move the e-business suite to the cloud, who is going to help them? Right? So there are different roles in cloud for each of them in the OCI, and you have to adopt that, right? So you have to go to a transformation where you will have to unlearn few things. Again, I'm repeating, you will have to unlearn few things, right? And you will have to learn about how the users are configured, how the load balancers are configured, how the computes are managed, what kind of database services you have, what kind of object storages you have, how you can make the high availability becomes an architecture-driven roadmap, right? How you will decide the strategy for a customer. If the customer is saying, I want some backups to be hot, some backups to be cold, what type of storages you are going to use, how you will configure this backup to go to the cloud, right? So this is the role in market, what people get with different companies. The modern DBA will know how to architect his databases on OCI. The modern DBA, that means a cloud DBA, right, will know how the design of the infrastructure will be in terms of their databases, in terms of their applications, right? And he will also know how to write the automation. And he will also understand the high availability architect strategy and how to optimize the performance. So now these are different roles. Once you know OCI, you can join any one of the role, right? There are different roles, but these are the kind of different works which is available in the cloud, and you have to grab that role. In order to grab this role, you have to attain a specified amount of skill set, right? That I will make you understand. Now, see, OCI, a difference between OCI and AWS and GCP is OCI is very purpose built for the high performance networking and enterprise grade architectures. Because you know, Exadata is the one of the best machine of Oracle which works for the big enterprises, right? So it is designed very much with the low latency, keeping in mind for the enterprise customers. If you get, I mean, if one AWS customer brings in, let's suppose 15 VMs, right? Then one Oracle customer at least brings 150 VMs. Because most of the Oracle customers are big customers. That means the enterprise customers. They are not some small shops. So you have to design or architect yourself accordingly, right? So you have to go towards all these layers. How the autonomous will work, block storage will work, object storage, load balancer, overview of Exadata cloud. What is the, I mean, only an overview in this course. So basically this course is towards complete deep diving into the infrastructure with almost 70% of the hands-on lab, and almost like you will cover 40 plus hands-on lab. You will do at least 40 plus hands-on lab, and then you will understand this logic, right? Now, see, this is just a mapping of what we were doing earlier and what we are doing now. Earlier, you were doing backup and recovery. Now it is automated. What you will do? You will help the customer to choose what kind of storage the customer will take and where the backup should go, right? Storage management. You will help the customer to choose what kind of block volumes, what size the customer should take. Earlier, we used to do the networking. Now you will well versed with the VCN plus subnets. Earlier, we have database security. Now we have the IAM and network security that you will have to learn because you will be applying that. Earlier, we used to have a HA architectures. Now we have multi-AD deployment. Multi-AD means multi-data center deployments. So all these traditional skills, what we were doing, are now completely mapped to the new skills, new architectures. So you have to just map your expertise to the modern toolkit. Simple. You have to unlearn few things and learn few new things. Simple. The database knowledge, what you have, remains with you. It is just a top up on top of your knowledge, right? And as per my understanding, being like dealt with more than 1,000 DBAs, I think the DBAs already understand the infrastructure better than most of the engineers. And OCI will simply give you the tools to control that infrastructure on the cloud scale. And that you will have to learn anyways. So, like for example, if I have to provision a database here, right, in the cloud, in the OCI, right, the user will come, a load balancer will be there, an application tier will be there. This will be placed in a private subnet. So, what is a private subnet? Why I would place a database in a private subnet? If a DBA will place the database in a public subnet, it can get hacked, right? What kind of load balancer you need to put in? How the traffic will flow? So these are this is just a very high level diagram, right? And then you will connect a database to the automated backup stream, and it will take the backup automatically on the object storage. No need to run the jobs on daily basis, and simple few clicks. So now these are the kinds of things you need to learn in order to make any customer understand how their database is going to run on cloud, right? You have to understand how auto scaling will work. Auto scaling means if I want to scale my CPUs on the runtime, I can scale in the cloud environment because I have so much of resources. What is a cloud? Can anybody answer me what is a cloud? Any layman language answer will work. Can anybody tell me what is a cloud?
Yeah, your on premise is hosted by somebody else. Yeah, I mean, if you look at
Good
it
answer.
in that way.
Yeah, correct. So it's correct. So it's actually a very large data center, simple, and hosted by somebody else. Very large DC hosted by somebody else, and that's a good point. I like that point. Your data center hosted by somebody else. That's a good point. So yes, so it's a very large DC. Simple. Cloud is a very big data center. Simple answer to cloud. What is cloud? Right. So now this is something where you are connecting your application computes to the autonomous database taking the backup, and you build a policy on top of your autonomous database. I mean application layer, that if something happens to the compute, it can scale, right? You put a load balancer and you put a DNS, the users are coming here. So lot of architectures are there around this, which you will need to learn, because earlier you were working only here. You were seeing only this, right? Only this. Even we had the storage admins, the backup admins, right? So those are now merged. You have to do this. Nobody's hiring a storage admin separately. Now, as per my understanding, as per my experience, this is the path of a DBA, which I have also followed. That is where I have mapped it. So this is something which a DBA should follow. A database administrator can go to a cloud DBA, go to a cloud engineer, and then do a cloud architect, right? So in all the phases, you will have different kinds of works you will need to perform, right? And cloud architect will perform everything, right? He knows everything, right? So I have been a cloud DBA, then I worked towards a cloud engineer, and then after 1 or 2 years, I mastered the cloud and I got into the cloud architect. Right now I'm working as a master cloud architect. So you have to start from the infrastructure. If you don't know the infrastructure, cloud will become very difficult for you guys to understand. And you learn it today, you learn it tomorrow, You learn Oracle Cloud, you learn AWS, you learn GCP, up to you, but you have to learn one of the cloud. And I think for at least Oracle DBAs, Oracle Apps DBAs, storage admins, network admins, Oracle is a good ball game because it is picking very fast, very fast, right? So try to jump onto the future DBA who knows the architectures, who knows the automations and infrastructure. And if you don't learn it today, trust me on this, in next 6 months or 1 year or maybe 2 years down the line, you will have to definitely learn this. No skipping. You can't skip this. I mean, any cloud you go, AWS infrastructure, you learn anything you want, GCP, OCI. I do OCI and Azure, and I do OCI 90% and 10% of Azure because there are a lot of opportunities in OCI. Right. So my 2 cents on this is that understanding OCI will never harm you, will always give you an edge to talk to your customer that how their databases can be moved to cloud. And that is the real problem of a customer today. They want to move their databases. They are searching for the DBAs who can help them move their databases. They are searching for the architects who can design their strategy. They are searching for the cloud engineers who can manage their databases. So a lot of roles. Right. So that is all from my side. Now I'll open up for the Q&A. And sorry if I have given any extra gyan. Now let us discuss on the Q&A. What do you want to tell or what do you want to speak?
So I have a few, infrastructure level questions, Krishna. You said you are very closely, connected to the cloud infrastructure engineer. So if you are given a project where you have to sell OCI or cloud infrastructure to a company who are currently on premise, and they have, let's say about, 50 to 60 production databases and same amount of development databases. So they are heavily invested in Oracle. And this company, they are not moving away from Oracle. So how would you sell them? In figures, I know that, a lot of the discussions we had is, why we learn a cloud architecture or why we should get a OCI certification. But the same sell pitch may not work for people who are spending money. They don't see it in that way. I have a company, I run everything on premise. Let's say I have the data, I have my own, racks hosted on the local data center. I have my network engineer. I have my, OS engineer and storage engineers also. So how and where exactly you would be able to sell OCI to that particular customer? So let's say they are spending about a few millions every year on Oracle already because of the licensing.
So does that complete your question? Shall I answer?
Yes, please.
So that's a good question. And by the way, Ranadeep, what do you do? I mean, are you into the pre-sales or tech or what is your current profile? Just for my, because you asked a very pointed question and very good question. So what do you do currently?
Yeah, I'm a database architect.
So you are a database. Okay. So now see how I see the customer who wants to move to cloud, right? Now first I have to understand what are the big pain points of the customer who wants to move to cloud, right? What I think the cost, the first thing, right? Biggest pain point. Second is the performance, right? And the scalability. Let's take two of them as an example. Now, if I have one customer like HDFC Bank, let's suppose it's an Indian bank, and Deutsche Bank, right? You know the Deutsche Bank, right? So first thing is, before selling to the customer before selling anything to the customer, I think first we have to understand the problems of the customer. Correct? Because if I have two customers, HDFC and Deutsche, both of them will have different problems. That is 100% sure. Right? They might have 10 problems in common, but then they might also have 20 problems which are different. They might have a different 20 problem, and this guy will have a different 20 problem, right? Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Right.
Please
So
go
first I have to deep dive into these problems, and then
ahead.
accordingly, I should be able to understand the cloud very well so that I can fit their components. So first I'll understand their problem, and then I will deep dive into their current infrastructure. So I always believe one thing which I always say to everyone who joins the batch and every one of my customer and my team, that if you don't understand the source, right, you will never be able to architect the target. Correct. So to sell something, first you have to architect the target databases or the target infrastructure, right? So to architect the target, first you have to understand the source properly. That means the source environment, what the customer is having currently, right? So I'll give you a real life example of how I sold Exadata to one of the customer. Would you like to listen? And that was a very smart move which we did, and the customer was really happy. So, so that is why I'm saying every customer has a different problem. Now there was one of the bank, a government bank, right? They were having Exadatas, and they were having two Exadatas. I mean DR and a primary, right? DR primary. Now this bank was spending around on a year, let's suppose 1 million on this Exadata. Just a vague number, right? Don't go by the number. Let's suppose they were spending 1 million every year, correct? And that was a very huge number for them, for this bank. Now they approached us and we went ahead and we studied their source environment, right? When we studied their source environment, we understood their pattern. Their pattern was that their employees was coming at 10 a.m. and they were working till 6 p.m., correct? Right? And till 10 a.m.
Yeah.
till 6 p.m., their Exadatas were 90% utilized, right? And after from 6 p.m. to next day morning at 10 a.m., next day morning at 10 a.m., their Exadatas were only 30% utilized, even less than that. So they are wasting how much percentage of resource in this night time? Approximately
Yeah, I
60%,
understand.
right?
I mean, you were going into the compute and you're trying to
Right.
reduce it based on the user
So
sessions connections.
no. I'm not trying to do that. I am trying to re-architect his strategy based on the
Okay.
cloud architectures where I will provide him a DR which can run on a 30% lesser capacity which is running currently, and I have given him scaling strategies, right? Which can only be done on the cloud, right? And then we have written the automation for them, which will make the Exadata scale up to let's suppose 40 OCPUs at 10 a.m. and scale down at 10 OCPU at 6 p.m. So it will save on around 30 OCPUs, right?
Okay. So, enlighten me on this. I mean, are we allowed only to license the cloud databases based on the number of OCPUs or on the IOPS also?
Okay. So now what you are asking is it comes under the licensing part, right?
Yeah.
Which is done by the master architects.
Yeah. You said you are, right?
Yes. So I am,
Okay.
yes. So this is done by the master architects. So now
Mhm.
when you do the licensing, IOPS has no role in the licensing, first thing, right? IOPS, you will have to calculate how much the customer is having, and accordingly, you will suggest a new system. Correct?
Let's say, I mean, let's take a generic figure. Let's say I have 100,000 IOPS every
Okay.
hour.
100,000 IOPS you have. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. You can put it into hour or into seconds, up to you.
So IOPS is
So
okay. So usually, let's suppose let me take 100 IOPS, 100,000 IOPS per minute, right?
yeah, you can
That
take
is
it.
your need.
Mhm.
Okay. Now,
So now tell me, I mean, what will be the cost of me moving from on-premise to cloud
hmm,
if this is my minute-wise or hour-wise consumption?
right. So let's suppose if this is your minute-wise consumption, although the
Mhm.
IOPS is always calculated in the seconds, right? this much
Okay,
IOPS per second, right?
let's say it's second, no problem.
So let's say it is in second. So this is your on-prem. So first thing
Mhm.
we will have to understand that on the cloud, which system can support this much IOPS, 100 million
Okay.
IOPS, right? Does
No,
your
I said 100,000, not million.
100,000,
Yeah.
sorry, 100,000 IOPS, right? So does
Mhm.
your DBCS system, that is the Oracle-based system, can support 100,000 IOPS? Do you need a bare metal system with what version for this IOPS?
Mhm.
Or you have
Mhm.
to go to the Exadata system for this IOPS, right?
Mhm.
Because ultimately your IOPS requirement is huge. It is not something like 1,000 IOPS or 10,000 IOPS. It is 100,000 IOPS, right? So
Mhm.
first we have to carve out a exact system which can support this number of IOPS, point number one. After that, we have to understand how much is the frequency of your IOPS, and accordingly, we have to design the OCPU strategy in the cloud, that how much OCPU you need, then how much storage you need, right? Because doing licensing in on-prem and doing licensing is cloud is very different. Are you
Yeah,
getting me?
I understand. Yeah.
Right. Then if I have to do the same licensing in cloud, which I also cover in my sessions, I have to open a calculator, right? And I will have to decouple the components. That means the customer will have to pay one thing for the Exadata, then the storage, then the OCPU, right? And then the anything extra if he wants, like an FS client, right? And then we will also have to check how much data of egress and egress will go. Correct?
Okay. So you were
Combining this
suggesting. Mhm.
will come a dollar value. But first
Mhm.
thing, I will have to find a relevant architecture and a relevant machine for this guy to achieve this much amount of IOPS.
Okay.
And that I think only can be done by the Exadata in this case.
So you were suggesting bare metal earlier. So do you see a challenge with getting a bare metal on the cloud for this?
No, I don't see a challenge for the bare metal. But
Okay.
if you are my customer and you are spending 100 rupees on a bare metal, I would rather
Mhm.
ask you to spend 105 rupees on Exadata because you will get a lot of features which you will not
Okay.
get in the bare metal. The bare metal, you will have to manage a lot of things. In the
Mhm.
Exadata, a lot of things will be managed by Oracle. The infra will be managed by Oracle. You don't have to
Mhm.
patch your systems, right? The Oracle will provide you the patch. In the bare metal, you will have to manage the hypervisor. In Exadata, you will not have to manage the hypervisor. So there are a lot of things which you will not have to manage, but the Oracle will manage for you. So why do you want to go for a bare metal system? Now, in the
No,
same,
just
hmm,
trying to understand here.
yeah, yeah,
So when
hmm.
you say bare metal, I suppose you are talking about IaaS, right? Infrastructure as
IS,
service.
yes, IS, right.
So
Simple
when you
IS,
s-
where I'll give you a
when
rack. Go
okay,
ahead, go ahead.
and when you were mentioning Exadata, I suppose you are trying to mention SaaS model.
Okay, so Exadata is PaaS model, right? Platform as a service, where the Oracle will be managing an infrastructure and you will be
Okay.
managing anything above the hypervisor. So that means I will
Okay.
divide the Exadata into two parts. One is the DOM O that Oracle will take care of, right? And one is the DOM U, which you will take. And between this DOM U and DOM U, the hypervisor will be there.
Mm.
So this you will manage as a customer, and this Oracle will manage with the SLA of 99.99%, right? But if I go the same thing on the bare metal, I will have to install my own hypervisor. I will have to manage this. I will have to manage this. It is only a box which will be given to you, right? You
Mm.
manage. Now I have customers who are building their AI agents, right? NVIDIA. Do you know NVIDIA is using a lot of bare metals of Oracle Cloud, but they don't want Exadatas or any other thing because they have a very harsh security layer around this, and they don't want any security leak. So as a part of their model, they are running their agents on the bare metal. They are configuring their own infrastructure, which they are supplying to the other customers,
Mm.
right? So again,
So besides Exadata, so what are the other flavors of Oracle offering for PaaS model?
okay, so there are different other favors. Ranadeep, you can join my training batch, and then we can discuss, right? So hope I
Okay,
have answered a lot of your questions. So I want to move to the next guys if they have any confusion. So I
sure.
mean there are other DBCS, there are VM, there are bare metal, there are autonomous database, there are ADW, lot of flavors. But we have to understand what customers needs what. That is what I said earlier, right? because cloud is very vast, very vast. Even I mean, a customer can survive on one of the VM. I can install a small database on the VM and the customer can work on that. Why would I give him DBCS? Are you getting my point, Pranadeep?
Yeah, I thought you were moving on, so I no
Okay.
problem.
Okay. So hope I have answered your question, sir.
Yeah, of course. You did great. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. So any questions? Anybody else regarding OCI, cloud, DBA role, infrastructure, anything else?
Yeah, which cloud is most selling in the current market?
Okay. Okay. So if you talk like that, then AWS is the leader still. AWS is still the leader.
Then why we want to learn OCI?
Okay. So I already told you, you learn any other cloud you want, but learn some cloud. I didn't said you learn OCI, but I'll come on that also since you have asked. So if you see OCI, what is the great growth rate of OCI? Now AWS, there are a lot of people who are working on AWS, lot of people who are working on Azure. But I think there's a big gap in OCI. There's a big gap because OCI is now picking very fast. And if you see AWS is there been 15 years, OCI just started 5, 6 years back, and it is picking big. I mean, it is going good, very good. So I will prefer OCI, and I mean since 6, 7 years, I got a lot of offers to work on Azure, AWS. See, understand one thing, guys. If you understand the architecture of any of the cloud, you can learn another cloud very quickly. If you understand the architecture of AWS, you can understand Azure in 1 month. But you will have to do all the deep dive labs, all the practical hands-on with at least one cloud. Now, since if you are a Oracle DB, Oracle Apps DB, I'll recommend you go to Oracle. Why would you go to Azure or AWS? But still, if you want to go to AWS, Azure, go. But you will have to transform to cloud. That is my take.
Hi, Krishna.
Yeah, Uttar Reddy, please go ahead.
Yeah, I am from Oracle DBA. Which
Mhm.
cloud is better to learn? Was Azure cloud or OCI?
My preference OCI. That is why this whole masterclass is on OCI. My preference is OCI, 100%. Because if you are a DBA, right? Now, if you have
Yes,
been a SQL, no, let me. If you have been a SQL Server DBA, right? There are SQL
Oracle.
Server DBAs, correct? No, I'm getting you are Oracle DBA, but I'm saying instead you would have been a SQL Server DBA.
Okay.
I would have might be suggested you should go to Azure Cloud because it is their product, correct?
Okay.
Now, since we have Oracle database on all the clouds, you learn one cloud, you will, it will be very easy for you to understand how to run the Oracle database on AWS, on GCP, on Azure. It will be very easy for you to understand.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So there are many students in our batch earlier who learned Oracle Cloud with us, and they did a lot of labs and all. And then they switched towards Azure Cloud because they got an offer on Azure. Some company gave them offer on Azure because company told that, okay, we will make you learn Azure in 1 month. You know the fundamentals, you know the infrastructure. What we call as a VCN in Oracle Cloud is called as a VNet in Azure. So guys, I have a hard stop in next 3 minutes. Any other questions coming up? Ranadeep sir, do you want any other question? I mean, your questions were very good. I liked answering that. Hope I was able to answer your questions.
Yeah,
This is Raj.
please do not say sir. I think you that would be patronizing me. I do not
No,
want to
no,
be
no.
patronized.
No, I'm not
Uh,
patronizing. But I think you are working as an architect because your questions were pretty much related to the senior architects, what the work senior architects do. Like for example, very experienced guys. So I got from your questions that you are direct customer facing and you are designing good strategies for the customers.
That is the scope of this particular session doesn't allow that to discuss right now.
No,
So
that allow. That
I'll ask a
100%.
very simple question instead.
Yeah.
So we have been discussing, or rather, you have been discussing the scope of this particular training. So can you give us
Mhm.
a little bit of enlightenment how this training is? I mean, what are the topics you're going to cover? How many hours it will be imparted?
Sure,
What
sure,
are the
sure.
modes of this training? Yeah.
Sure. So, Randeep sir, this would be a live training first thing.
Yeah, just call me Ranadeep. I
Yeah, yeah.
insist, please.
So, Randeep, this is a live training of 40 to 50 hours, right?
Mhm.
In which we have around 40 plus labs, which I will do with you. Out of which around 20 plus I will do live with you, and rest 20 you have to do, and I will follow. I mean, I will be there to guide you. This training consists of 70% hands-on, because these type of topics cannot be taught into a self-paced mode. As per my understanding, this can only be live, right? And then we provide all the materials. Now, if I go inside the training, okay, you have storage. We'll start with the basics, and then we'll start with the storage, the network, right? And then deep dive into the network, because any cloud, 70% of the network is the main thing. And then we deep dive into the computes, we deep dive into the IAM, we deep dive into the IDCS, we deep dive into the security, we deep dive into the databases, we deep dive into the connections and bastion source, right? Although that's a part of the network. So these are the building blocks. Now, if you want to learn more about what are the detailed components, just check with Learnomate. They will provide you the syllabus, and you will get all the details on the syllabus.
Sure. Thank you.
Everything is mentioned there very clearly. Yeah. Okay. So, guys, any other questions from anybody else?
Yeah, hi Krishna.
Hi. Hi,
Yeah,
Akhilesh.
yeah. Actually, I'm working as a Oracle DBA, and also I like start training on OCI,
Mm-hmm.
and I have fundamental certification.
Mm-hmm.
So, what we have to like next move, like we have to which certification I have to do
Okay.
for the
So
like
I
yeah.
am not a I am not a very big believer of the certifications. I am the big believer of the uh, actual practical knowledge and practical implementations, and that we do in the class. Now, if you ask me the certification, as in DBA, if you
Mm-hmm,
move to cloud to put a cherry on top of your cake,
mm-hmm,
okay, you can go for a cloud architect certification of Oracle,
okay.
and you can
Mm-hmm,
also complete cloud professional certification. But my strict advice, don't
mm-hmm,
just do the certification just for the sake of putting it in your resume, right? If you
mm-hmm,
actually want to learn something, then first get the practical knowledge. I have seen guys who have zero certification and are getting selected in the big companies because they know their stuff, right?
mm-hmm.
And I have seen many guys getting rejected immediately in the first round of the interview, or are not able to upskill because they have only certifications in their resume.
No, as like previously you told like we have to move like cloud.
Hmm.
So currently we have to work with like previously work we extra data.
Mm-hmm.
Then our customer like move to OCI and we work as a cloud as a customer.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to learn about it. So we do. So like
Mm-hmm.
I learn OCI and I work on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just move forward for it. So
Okay. So,
yeah.
right. So these two certifications for Oracle Cloud you need to clear if you I mean if you want to clear
Mm-hmm.
any relevant certifications for DBS. And then there are operations, cloud operations. Once you move ahead, there are a lot of them. Cloud developer,
Mm-hmm.
cloud operations, right?
Yeah.
Cloud operations associate. Then there are database, autonomous database expert. So you can choose from them. But first you have to get your fundamentals right. After that only you will be able to move there. So when I say fundamentals right, that
Mm-hmm.
means these are the hands-on labs what you are going to do. Can you see my screen?
Yeah. Yeah.
You can see the hands-on labs, right? There are plethora of labs which you need to do first. Then only you will get your networking, your concepts clear. You have to
Mm-hmm.
work with the detailed architectures like this, how the flow is working,
Yeah.
right? How this architecture is
Yeah.
working. You have to implement it. You have to fail
Yeah,
many times.
because we have pass as a service, like
Hmm.
platform as a service, and we work as a cloud as a customer.
Hmm.
So all the thing like as you told previously, like patching and upgrades and other things, we
Hmm.
have to do by one click, and we do
Hmm.
as well. So
Hmm.
I have to like move in the cloud more. So
Okay. So,
yeah.
okay. So, Akhilesh, you have already done OCI, right? That is what you're
Mhm.
saying.
Yes.
So, are you working in an OCI environment currently?
Yeah, platform as a service. Yeah, we have taken platform as a service,
Okay.
and we have cloud as a customer. We have Exadata machine,
Clouded
but
customer. Okay.
cloud,
Hmm.
yeah, but
Hmm.
OCI manage all the things. We
So I
have
think
only managed.
okay, then I think if you are done with the OCI, then you should focus more on the Exadatas, ExaCC, ExaCS, and more on
Mhm.
the database migrations as well, because there's a very big scope in database migration. But database migration, we don't provide any training here. So I think
Mhm.
you have to bring in more towards Exadata. You should now move towards Exadata.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys, I have a hard close. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. I need to close now. Thank you so much.
Krishna, 1 second.
Yeah, yeah.
Tomorrow or Sunday, I mean, there is classes or when the classes start in new batch?
This will be starting next week. Next week, week
Okay. So
14.
tomorrow and Sunday there is no class, right?
Mm-hmm. No, tomorrow there's no class. It is starting on 14th.
Okay. Check.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you guys. Take care. Thank you so
Thank
much. Bye bye. Thank you.